Meghan issued a triumphant statement on Thursday morning after the Court of Appeal ruled in her favor, upholding the High Court judge's decision over her privacy case. However, the defendant in the case and publisher of the Mail Online and Mail on Sunday, Associated Newspapers, announced in a statement it is considering an appeal to the British Supreme Court. The statement read, "We are very disappointed by the decision of the Court of Appeal. It is our strong view that judgment should be given only on the basis of evidence tested at trial, and not on a summary basis in a heavily contested case, before even disclosure of documents. No evidence has been tested in cross-examination, as it should be, especially when Mr. Knauf's evidence raises issues as to the Duchess's credibility." After People magazine published an attack on Mr. Markle, based on false briefings from the Duchess's friends wrongly describing the letter as a loving letter, it was important to show that the letter was no such thing. Both the letter and People magazine also seriously misrepresented the reasons for Mr. Markle's non-attendance at the royal wedding. The articles corrected these matters and raised other issues of public interest, including the reasons for the breakdown in the relationship between the Duchess and her father. "We are considering an appeal to the Supreme Court in the United Kingdom." This statement mentioned Jason Knauf, who was Meghan's communications secretary between 2018 and 2019. Mr. Knauf was heard in November by the Court of Appeal through a written witness statement in which he claimed Meghan had written the letter to her estranged father Thomas Markle Sr. in August 2018 with the understanding that it could be leaked. He said she had sent him an early draft of the letter and had written, "Obviously everything I have drafted is with the understanding that it could be leaked, so I have been meticulous in my word choice, but please do let me know if anything stands out for you as a liability." Among other claims made by Mr. Knauf in his statement, the former Royal Communications Secretary detailed by sharing a text exchange with the Duchess how Meghan chose to call her father Daddy in her letter, as she had only ever called him in this manner, and in the unfortunate event that it leaked it would pull at the heartstrings. Moreover, Mr. Knauf said Meghan had deliberately ended each page partway through a sentence so that no page could be falsely presented as the end of the letter. In her statement to the Court of Appeal, Meghan stressed she did not think her father would leak her letter as it would have shown him in a bad light. Denying she thought it likely her letter would enter the public sphere, she said she merely recognized that this was a possibility. The Duchess also said, "The proposition that saying that I recognized that it was possible that my father would leak the letter, albeit unlikely, is the same as saying that I thought it likely that he would do so is, I would suggest, absurd." The Duchess said the text exchange showed she went to considerable lengths to ensure that the letter only went to my father. The Associated Newspapers statement also mentioned a People article, referring to a story published by the US magazine in early 2019 in which 5 friends of Meghan anonymously defended the Duchess and spoke about her father. The Mail Online and Mail on Sunday later published, in February 2019, extracts from the Duchess' private and personal letter to Mr. Markle over 5 articles. A few months later, in October 2019, Prince Harry announced in a statement his wife the Duchess of Sussex had decided to sue Associated Newspaper, the publisher also of the Daily Mail. Meghan claimed the Associated Newspaper's articles containing her letter misused her private information, infringed her copyright and breached the Data Protection Act. In February, High Court Judge Lord Justice Warby gave summary judgment, which meant the case did not go to full trial, and ruled in Meghan's favor. Lord Justice Warby said the publication of these extracts had been manifestly excessive and hence unlawful. Giving his ruling, the judge said the majority of the content published was about Meghan's behavior, her feelings of anguish about her father's behavior, as she saw it, and the resulting rift between them. He added, "These are inherently private and personal matters." A 3-day hearing took place at the Court of Appeal in November after Associated Newspapers challenged this ruling. However, on Thursday morning, judges Sir Geoffrey Vaux, Dame Victoria Sharp and Lord Justice Bean dismissed the publisher's appeal in a ruling. The letter, the judges said, was personal, private and not matters of legitimate public interest. Reading a summary of their decision, Sir Geoffrey said, "It was hard to see what evidence could have been adduced at trial that would have altered the situation." The judge had been in as good a position as any trial judge to look at the article in People magazine, the letter and the Mail on Sunday articles to decide if publication of the contents of the letter was appropriate to rebut the allegations against Mr. Markle. The judge had correctly decided that, whilst it might have been proportionate to publish a very small part of the letter for that purpose, it was not necessary to publish half the contents of the letter as ANL had done. During this hearing, the judges were told 585 out of the letter's 1,250 words had been republished in the 5 articles in question. Meghan issued a strongly worded statement in the wake of this ruling, saying, "This is a victory not just for me, but for anyone who has ever felt scared to stand up for what's right. While this win is precedent-setting, what matters most is that we are now collectively brave enough to reshape a tabloid industry that conditions people to be cruel, and profits from the lies and pain that they create. From day one, I have treated this lawsuit as an important measure of right versus wrong. The defendant has treated it as a game with no rules. The longer they dragged it out, the more they could twist facts and manipulate the public, even during the appeal itself, making a straightforward case extraordinarily convoluted in order to generate more headlines and sell more newspapers, a model that rewards chaos above truth. In the nearly 3 years since this began, I have been patient in the face of deception, intimidation and calculated attacks. Today, the courts ruled in my favor again, cementing that the Mail on Sunday, owned by Lord Jonathan Rothermere, has broken the law. The courts have held the defendant to account, and my hope is that we all begin to do the same. Because as far removed as it may seem from your personal life, it's not. Tomorrow, it could be you. These harmful practices don't happen once in a blue moon, they are a daily fail that divide us, and we all deserve better. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, is the world's most influential royal according to new data. No other figure, including the Queen and the Duchess of Cambridge, has this year received more online searches and mentions than her. A spokesperson for Design Bundles, which commissioned the research, said, "Meghan Markle has an extraordinary influence around the world, ever since she and Prince Harry TM's relationship took the world by storm in 2017. Meghan TM's bravery and boldness in speaking up about issues such as racism, parental leave, and empowering women are unlike any other royal, and her voice is a powerful and enduring one. The Duchess of Sussex is deeply committed to alleviating world issues through her charity work, and despite no longer being a working royal, proves that her influence is positive and unchanging." Meghan and Harry, Duke of Sussex, sent shockwaves through the palace and beyond with their move to the US last year. Their decision to step back as senior working royals and start a life away from the spotlight came after a turbulent few years in the UK. Since starting a new chapter in Montecito, California, the Sussexes have given Archie a sister, Lilibet, and seem to have shifted their focus onto subjects they deeply care about. In the case of Meghan, that has meant a growing involvement in US politics. She has in several instances raised the issue of parental leave, even writing an open letter to Speaker of the House of Representatives Nancy Pelosi and Senate Leader Chuck Schumer calling for a strong paid leave program for every American that TMS guaranteed, accessible and encouraged without stigma or penalty. She also pointed out that millions of women have dropped out of the workforce to provide for their children since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. The mother of two wrote, "ITMM not an elected official, and ITMM not a politician. I am, like many, an engaged citizen, and a parent." Her bold political move alongside her later appearances at the New York Times DealBook Online Summit and the Ellen DeGeneres Show have all been chances for the Duchess to enhance her image as someone who uses their voice for important causes, which is likely to have contributed to her level of influence. The research shows that Meghan's online acclaim is followed by Her Majesty, 95, and Kate, Duchess of Cambridge, 39. The monarch posts 10.3 million Instagram hashtags, 3.3 million Google searches and 2,200 media mentions. Design Bundles said, her commitment to duty and unwavering stability make her an incredibly popular figure across the world. It TMS clear that Her Majesty the Queen reigns in many people TMS hearts as one of the most influential and well-loved public figures in history. The Duchess of Cambridge, meanwhile, outnumbered Meghan in Instagram mentions, with 13 million hashtags. However, overall, Meghan's online footprint remains larger.